Start it up. Start it up. Start it up. Start it up. Let's get started. Get started. Getting started, baby. Getting started. I don't know what we said after that. What's good, y'all? Let's start off on a good note. Shout out to the first black superhero that well, he wasn't really a superhero. He kind of was just cool ass black dude. Wesley Snipes in Blade. You know what I'm saying? One of the more forgotten epic moments of our childhood. I think every Blade movie was like pretty good. So here we go. We got the Twilight ending we really needed. Let me tell you something. At this point, I think movies have run their course. So we need to go ahead and just go with the most with the craziest. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and just break every rule and just get as creative as possible and put Twilight and Blade together, make it a half-hour movie where he just run this ninja down. You know what I mean? I would love to see the dude from Twilight. Yo, you want to watch that? You did it. It was you. You did it. You watched it. You would watch it. All right. So we gonna start off like, I'm not gonna do what everyone thinks I'm gonna do, which is this flip out. See, I'm not gonna flip out. I got coffee in my hand. See? Yeah. Yeah. But anywho, I don't know. I always say I was raised by certain caliber of folks, the kind of people who iron their clothes on Sunday nights, the kind of people that made the neighborhood a place where you can leave your door unlocked, the kind of people that fry chicken real good and make macaroni in the oven. All right, my daddy learned me some respect. So what are my goddamn manners? It's the 6 Paths Commandments. 6 Paths Dice here. Mr. Lane, if you need me. Yo, when my channel blow up, right, and I become the next big thing on Black YouTube, for however long it is, yo, my neighbors will be able to say, yeah, I used to hear him, you know, I wouldn't know. I didn't know what he was doing. All I used to hear was, now, yeah, cause I know like they like through the floor, all they hear is, you know what I mean? I'll be feeling bad when I'm getting ready for battle. Well, I don't feel bad, but I can imagine how it sounds while I'm getting ready for battles, and this, you know, you just hear this guy like rapping for like an hour. I mostly practice outside anyway, but still. But anywho, we are back, man. I want to touch back down to get back into this clip. You know what I mean, with from the new Balloon Pop show. So of course we have another. Actually, that show on the low has gone viral so many times. You know what I mean, but we're seeing. But this is what's very interesting. Being as though it's not a real TV show that requires any like, of course they've actually produced that show, meaning that they got good lights, good camera work, you know what I mean? You know, they definitely put some money into it, but it's not the same as a show where you have to wait a whole season or there's a limit. Like this woman could do this show, I don't know how many times. I mean, I'm not sure how long it took to get to where she can get these people on there like this. But anywho, what's going on this show now is that the men are starting to respond in kind. I mean, it's still not really as bad as it could be, right? So I was watching something with Angry Man. You know what? Let me pull it up real quick. Hold on, guys. I've actually found it. Shout out to the Angry Man. Listen, shout out to the God, man. Listening to the Angry Man got me through some really tough times, like times that was so tough. You know, now that I'm out of those times, or I'm getting out of those times, I realized how tough they was, and I found the content at the right time, and he's been a big inspiration, especially with Kevin Samuels not being here anymore, in terms of someone who understands how to provide you with content, and just be able to talk. Because you mostly just listen to this guy talk, and he's so intelligent, right? That I can hear that again. This dude has 3-4 hour live streams. Yo, if he's talking about a subject, I will listen to Angry Man talk about some shit for a good couple hours. And I know that's just me because I'm the kind of person that enjoys long form content, you know. But anywho, so what Angry Man is getting ready to touch on the pop the balloon thing. Now he makes this point twice, one outside and when he goes inside. So sometimes when he does outside lives, he'll stay outside for as long as he can. And usually he'll go inside if the phone is dying or heating up and whatnot. But he's going to get into a pretty interesting metaphor for like what's going on in the show. Because I mean, and it brings up an interesting point. Anyway, so fair use, shout out to Angry Man.
Now,
that's how I be spitting. While I'm blogging. All right, come on,
this sort of phenomenon happening in the regular dating world is more spaced out, more separated, not condensed and localized to one area, right? So the balloon pop show, in my personal opinion, it takes the premise of the man having to adjust who he is and his behavior and the way he speaks and everything about him. It takes that idea and then it condenses it into one localized area to where you're seeing the behavioral adjustments in real time. Okay? You're literally seeing the behavioral adjustments in real time. The only problem is the people that are dictating what the behavior should be are dysfunctional train wrecks themselves. And of course, I'm speaking about the women that are popping the balloons, right? They're already dysfunctional train wrecks themselves. So it's kind of like having a social experiment or a scientific experiment, but instead of the study being ran by actual scientists, it's being ran by the same people that you're administering the study to as well, right? So that's just like if 20 of you volunteer to be test subjects in some social experiment. But when you get there, the people that are assessing your behavior isn't scientists. It's other people like you. So you not only had people.
Yo, let me go ahead. I'll be jumping a little bit. Pause. What Angry Man is very good at, he's very nice with like analogies and scenarios. And I think that comes from the hip hop background. This is why I think the internet was the best thing that happened to hip hop. Only because the people who are talented can be heard. Like there's no way of stopping them from being heard. But of course, all the untalented people are getting through as well. But you learn these kind of things by trying to rap, being a part of hip hop, and being a fan of hip hop. You know what I mean? And it's always interesting that I noticed that hip hop became a lot more simple and lacked substance and intelligence when it was given to the girls and the kids. I always say Drake kind of gave it to the girls a little more. I mean, it was him and T-Pain and a few other people gave it to the girls. In terms of like making music where you're dressing and this is like kind of for the girls. Soulja Boy gave it to the kids, and Lupe, Pharrell, and Kanye gave it to the nerds, and the other black people that didn't really fall under, well, didn't necessarily relate to the hood shit. You know what I'm saying? And now again, they all have their place, but what happened? And I can't say that it stopped having substance altogether, but you just start seeing an influx of artists who are not talented at all. Like it's always astounding that Sexy Red exists and she's popular and she doesn't seem to be going nowhere. Like someone like that. Nah, I can't even say someone like that. Like there's a record called "It's So Cold in the D." It's so cold in the go look up "Cold in the D." Pause. And and it's I think it is a real song. It's just a super low budget video with some girl rapping, and I can't even say if it was bad or not, but like that's what Sexy Red sound like. It sounds like somebody playing. Like all her records sound like some girls playing around. It don't really sound like this person is like dead serious about giving you a record. You feel me? But anywho, so but that's what he's very good at, right? And he touches on the analogy of this being a social experiment and this how this can affect people. And I want to expound on that because I don't know exactly when he gets to it, but I want to expound on that and explain to y'all what's happening to these men when they go on this show. Now, something different that maybe only a few people pop the balloon, but first of all, men already know that a woman can reject them at any time, especially if you're a regular guy, right? Also, he understands that, or he's made to feel as though he's the one that's up for review. He's the one being studied. He's the one who has to rise to the occasion. And again, it's that phase of the relationship where the woman has the most power, and a lot of times women will pass up or mess up the opportunity with a guy because they're overplaying. All right, we're at the phase where we haven't slept together yet, and you haven't had me yet. You know, so therefore I want to make it last as long as possible. I want to have the experience of you wanting me, you just want to be around me, you trying to charm me and trying to convince me. Women like experiences, you know what I'm saying? But like I always say, that's being overplayed to the point where nothing is happening, right? So anyway, so mentally, I got to really realize that, and Angry Man breaks it down as a hostile environment. So also he touches on the condensation. You guys are condensing what should be 10 separate experiences to all at one time. 10 separate experiences all at one time. That shit would be like, imagine you being broke and all your bills hit on the same day. You know what I'm saying? Even if you got the money in your account, let's just say that was possible. You know what I'm saying? That if you owe a certain amount of money and whatnot, every subscription you have, everyone can talk and get together. That's like if the Wi-Fi, the phone, the rent. Imagine if they all could talk. You know what I'm saying? And they all can get together and at any given time go ahead and just hit your account all at once, and you just keep getting notifications. You know what I'm saying? Boom, boom, broke. Go do Uber Eats. You know what I'm saying? Just money go down. Like, oh. You know what I'm saying? Like for a man, when even if you got the money, the larger the amount of money that's coming out your account, a man always feels a small part of him leave, whether he got it or not. You feel me? A small part of you leaves, and I can imagine like, that's how women feel about relations, especially if it's relations with someone that they not really going to be with or who don't want to be with them. It's like, you're walking away with a part of me here. Come back, you know. So anywho, I want to get to this next point, and the next point that he makes about this show. And again, men are catching on. Men are changing. The men are finally changing. The women been changing for a long time, and I talk to other men about this, about how men need to accept that the women are different and times are different, and it's time to change and change the rules, because the women continuously change the rules. Like when we got to a point where, first of all, the internet makes it to where every conversation can live, every idea, every subject, everything can live. So even if it's stupid, there's always going to be 100 to 1,000 people who can find each other on a social media post. Let's just say for the subject, maybe not necessarily the post, but the subject, that will come together and comment on this same thing. And you know what I mean? And if you read that comment section, you may really think, this is how people. Don't get me wrong, comment sections are like live, like data. You know what I mean? But the more niche the item, I'm just saying that any idea can grow. Any idea can grow legs. Put it like that. And we're seeing it more and more, right? Especially when it comes to relationships, especially when it comes to the concept of women do this a little more, but we all do this where if something applies to us and it benefits us, we try to relate to it. So, for example, I talked about how or it's talked about more often, that women will talk about their grandfathers and their forefathers as if they weren't good men and they didn't have good relationships, and their grandmother and mothers and foremothers were only with these men out of desperation, or they had no choice. It was just a job. Basically, it was the color purple, and those are the kind of relationships they had. But on the same token, how did I say it? You know what I'm saying? But on the other side of that, you'll hear women talk about how men used to be, how old-fashioned men were, how hard they worked and whatnot, and they're referring to Big Daddy. Like, so it's kind of weird. So on one hand, you'll say Big Daddy was abusive, he's a cheater, he just wasn't shit, and your grandma wasn't shit either. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? Before I get to my next point with that brings me into another video I wanted to share with Kevin Samuels, because I also wanted to touch on how Kevin Samuels made this. I won't say he made this happen, but Kevin Samuels changed how Black folks think forever. Like, you know, I'll be in different places, and I've been hearing I don't know if this is on TikTok or not, but it's a parody of a kid song. I hear women say big back, big back, big back, big back. You know what I mean? So it's a parody of hold on. It's a parody. Ooh, okay. Ooh, let's go. It's a parody of a kid song. But what does big back mean? Big back mean you too fat, right? Big back mean that you too fat. All right, we can get that right. So, but before Kevin Samuels came with the acronym, not an acronym, but the mantra of fit, feminine, and friendly, in terms of what all men are looking for, but especially quote unquote high value men. Okay, and also because again, he would have these conversations where women would be overweight, or this is a video I showed the other day where he said basically he was talking about how a lot of women don't realize that the weight is a problem, and we can get into why that is at a different time, right? And he said, I was talking to a woman, I said, how much do you weigh? She said, I weigh 230 pounds. He's like, man, you weigh more than a linebacker. You know what I'm saying? And then he pulled up a football player and his stats and his weight, and she weighed more than a linebacker. You know what I mean? So but at that time, that's where Black folks' consciousness was at. That where we didn't realize, you know what, that is way too big for a woman to be. That's what helped me realize how big I was. You know what I mean? Like that's what watching that show. It was a combination of different things I watched. It was for me being in the dating market. A show I watched called From Fit to Fat to Fit. And also listening to Kevin kind of quote what the average weight was, which was 168 pounds. And I'm like, and that was the average weight as of the last census. All right, you know, for the American male. And I was like, man, and I started thinking about if I wanted to have a six-pack, or if I wanted to be lean, how much weight would I have to lose? And I arrived at, I gotta lose 100 from where I am now. I'll have to lose about 100 pounds. You know what I'm saying? Now my weight went back up a little bit, but since 2021, I'll say some from the beginning of 2021 until like now, and I'll say to this year, because like I somehow put on like 10, 15 pounds. But I've lost collectively. I've been as low as 254. So when I first started and whatnot, I think I probably started 2021 at about 320, like 325 probably. You know what I'm saying? So I lost about 45. So I've lost between like 50 and 60 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So, and I've maintained that for the most part. You know. But anywho, but the thing was that before these conversations, Black people didn't think a lot of things there was a problem with a lot of different things. Also, he exposed how low Black men's self-esteem was. But I wanted to go ahead and just show this clip real quick with him talking to this young lady right here and what she said.
Why would your father and your mother's lifestyle wouldn't be good enough for you?
It's crazy. Me and my dad talk about this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It would be good, but it's average. You just said middle class. Are you living a middle class lifestyle?
Because the fact of the matter, you called your father average. You said they are average. You said they're average.
I said
you said your parents. You said your mother and father are average. You entitled. I swear to God, that's the final straw with me, lady. You said that the middle class, and that's average, as a high school graduate selling bundles, thinking that and you ain't got.
You saw her mouth? I don't know if you can see it not. You see that mouth? So you see her turn her lips in? Though, in case I can't tell, right? Those are the signs of someone taking the information and you got them. And you've hit them and you got them. This is the face now again. It's very hard to help people because what he's doing right now is saving her life. Because he's having a conversation with her where he's not filling her head up with bullshit. That's not going to help her or help her be a better person. As black people, we've made it to where everything that's trash about black folks is upheld, it's worshipped, and everything's a joke. And we don't care about what actually makes sense and what's best for me, you, your neighbor, your kids, their kids. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that black folks always had that vision and always thought like that, but we got to a point where we all think that we're in a storyline that's been produced by someone. Now, with the point he was making, what he's doing is again, he's putting life in perspective in terms of hierarchy, in terms of expectation, in terms of what work have you done? Like she's talking about her parents' lifestyle. She has not done the work her parents have done, but at the same time putting a label on it. First of all, she's saying average as if average does not mean normal. And she's saying, basically she's saying their lifestyle is beneath me. I'm not sure what to call this shit, but this is the thing that a lot of black women suffer from is this ambition, or they think that it's going to be a flex. The closer I am to like royalty and seeing myself as royalty, it's like faking it till you make it. It's like, all right, I'm going to act like I have these things. I'm going to act like I am these things until I get there. And it starts with the mindset. And to a certain degree, yeah, we can't say everything starts with your mindset, right? But it's not a mindset to be a better person. There's no work or talk of, I want to be a better person for the people around me, for my family, for you know what I'm saying, for the future. You know what I mean? I want, and not only that, you know what it is too, the desire for respect. What we're seeing is a lot of women have the desire for the admiration or just adoration without respect. Respect is super important because again, you wanting to be respected. Hold on, bro. Oh, boy. You having the desire to be respected makes you dress different and make you talk different, makes you deal with things different. It makes you want to maintain good relationships because you care about what you've built. You care about what you're putting out into the world. You don't feel as though, all right, well, whatever's whatever. Anything happens because a respectful person is doing the work. So it's so important to have that about yourself. And another thing about being a respectable person is that you often tend to respect more people and you have more appreciation because you want to be respected. You think, all right, what goes around comes around. I want to treat other people how you want to be treated. You understand? Also, I want to share one more clip too from Brother Kevin Samuels. I'm going
to pay shit. I hope your father never hears what you said. I hope he doesn't hear it because that's insulting. They provided you with something that you don't even think. You look at that man who's sacrificing, that woman who sacrificed, and you just shit on everything that they said in front of thousands of people. Don't you think people know your family?
That point right there. That point right there. That point right there. When we talk like this, and we got to ask ourselves, how do we get to a point where also black people in general, and I think maybe a part of it is not having a conversation about gratitude with your kids and young people from an early age, so they can understand that it don't gotta be like this. Things don't have to go your way. All right, you could not have this. I always say to people, if you want to be really happy, I want you to imagine the things that you enjoy on a regular basis, things you use, things you have. Imagine if you didn't have it. Take a second. Imagine if you didn't have it, and let that feeling wash over you. Let it wash over you. Let it wash over you, right? And really think about it. And think about what would that be like for me, right? And it may be uncomfortable, but it's going to bring you to the space of appreciation and gratitude for who you are and what you are and what you have or haven't accomplished yet. You know what I'm saying? And what you haven't, especially when you think of it in terms of what other people in the world actually have. Everyone doesn't have things. Everyone don't have a good life. And also, I'm gonna even say for old girl right here, a good life made her like this. All right. And the fact that no one's ever said, hey, you know, you should be grateful and whatnot, because obviously someone's made you think that you're more than what you are. That's another issue. It's when you think you're better at something than you actually are. All right, because if you think you're better than something, if you think you're better than you actually are, it leads to no self-correction, and again, that leads to stagnation, bad relationships with people, places, and things. Because again, it feeds into a narcissistic mindset where you can't be wrong, and everyone else is always the issue. Everyone else is always the problem. You understand? So I want to play one more clip, and again, I'm playing these clips because whether people want to admit this or not, or like to acknowledge it or not, Kevin changed how people thought, and he gave everyone the language to speak on these things.
Why would anybody want to deal with you? How about that?
Let's see. I'm intelligent. I'm motivated. I have my own business. I maintain my own lifestyle. I'm not understanding the full scope of your question.
Well, see, that's the problem now, ain't it? You just described yourself as a man. See, you got to understand what the men want. And nothing you said in there was anywhere close to being feminine, beautiful, inspirational, caring, loving. The way you're talking almost sounds like a dude. Why would anybody want to deal with you? How about that?
Let's see. I'm intelligent. I'm motivated. I have my own business. I maintain my own lifestyle. I'm not understanding the full scope of your question.
Well, see, that's the problem now, ain't it? You just described.
Let's stop right there. She said, I'm not understanding the full scope of your question. You know what that means? This is the same as going on a job interview and them asking you, what are your strengths or why do you want to work here? And I start going into, well, you know, I've looked into you guys' records. You guys are doing terrible and whatnot. You guys kind of all seem soft, and you seem as though you let me do whatever I want. And you know, I need a job. I got fired from my last job. They said I was insubordinate and I'm not punctual, whatever the hell that means. And something. So when do I start? If you are hiring for a job, would you hire someone who spoke like that? Would you think, all right, man, this is a great candidate if they come in insulting you, they come in basically in so many words, they're telling you well, you know, it looks like crap in here. I don't know. You guys seem like, you know, you hire people like me. You guys seem as though, you know, you're underachievers. You know what I'm saying? You look like y'all hire underachievers. So, you know, I'm an underachiever, and, you know, I'm not looking to work too hard, and I don't think you guys are working too hard, so I feel I can work it. You be like, nigga, is this you asking me for a job? Right? Now, again, that's an analogy on the fly. I know that wasn't like dynamic and whatnot, but you get what I'm talking about, right? But what I'm speaking to again is someone being a part of something that they've been a part of and that they've been doing and having no understanding of how it works or what it is. All right. And what Kevin's content exposed was that most women have not thought about or put much thought into what makes your relationship work. For the most part, most women, again, I can't tell you where it starts from, but it's a lot of behavior that's based off of women wanting to do what the men do. And Crimson Cure has made this point about women who do that. They see being a woman as a bad thing, and they're insecure about being a woman, and they're not comfortable with being a woman. So therefore, they want to do things that they see men do, and they want the same privileges as men. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, yeah, they want the same, not so much privileges, but just wanted they like to engage in male behavior, like being aggressive, being brutal. Someone say, "I'm brutally honest." I'm brutally honest. If you stink, I'll come up to you in front of a room of people and say, "Hey, you smell like armpits." You know what I mean? Or if I don't like your outfit, I'll come tell you, "Hey, who bought bell bottoms back?" Princess Diana wants her earrings back. Someone told me that back in 2005. That was a wild interaction. But anywho, that was pretty funny. In hindsight, that was pretty funny. But you get what I'm saying. Or when the woman was talking, she didn't name anything that's bad. It's good that you can maintain your own lifestyle. But it's two things that he's asking. Because this is a straight woman, right? It's two things he's asking. He's asking, why would a man like you? And what is it about you? I'm saying that basically, what do you bring to a relationship? And it's gotten to a point where it is offensive to ask a woman, and that's where the I am the table conversation comes from. It's offensive because it's basically saying, how dare you ask God what God brings to your life? I'm God. You know what I'm saying? And to the point, and again, the age of manipulation, the age of cheating the game is about to be over. All right. And men are responsible for women being able to cheat the game. Because again, gotta ask you, how can a group of people be strong if the men are weak and weak-minded and the men just do what the kids and the women want? That has never worked in the history of people. I mention that because we think about the men who come from women who think like this. Because for the most part, if you're from the hood, your mother teaches you that if you do whatever the woman wants, everything will be okay. Basically, just give her whatever she wants, whatever she's asking for, give it to her. If you make what I'm saying, just give everything. My mother never had one conversation about the criteria for the kind of woman I'm supposed to marry. Grandmother never had one conversation about the criteria for the woman I should marry, or the woman I should have kids with, or what a good mother is. All right? But because again, black women are very big on the sisterhood stuff, meaning that what black women, again, they understand the importance of sticking together. It's been to their detriment, right? But it doesn't matter how wrong a woman is. There's always, again, if you're in the presence of a black woman, you're talking about another black woman, she could be in jail for third degree, right? And some woman somewhere will defend her and her actions and say, well, she did what she had to do. Must have been a reason. You know what I'm saying? She blew up that school bus for a reason. You know what I mean? I had a situation the other day, and I was just like, wow. I don't get into it, but these clips right here changed everything. I'm saying for the better. All right, and the balloon pop show in particular, I think is probably between this and Sheriff 7. It's probably one of the best things that black men to like look at and understand what's going on and how they need to be moving. Give me a second. All right, y'all, I'm back. My bad, y'all. I'm over here doing business. Okay, but anyway, I'm washing clothes, bro. So I know I was touching on how things change forever, right? So Angry Man makes a really interesting point about why the show exists. And I think that the men going on it are not going on it with the expectation of hearing no matter what they look like. They understand that there was a possibility that, basically they're all gonna pop their balloon. And they all basically that you will be rejected. Now, I don't know why people go on here because they've showed plenty of clips where it's an attractive dude, it's a handsome guy, and you got all these girls popping their balloon for this. I was not throwing my coffee because there was no coffee in there. For this really, just any reason, honestly. But I want to play this clip with Angry Man real quick. Hold on. I found what I was looking for. Let me go ahead and share this clip real quick. All right. Let's go, Angry Man. Let's go.
The reason why I have to point this out is because when I sit back and I look at that show and how the rules are on that show, how the women are behaving on that show, how the men are behaving on that show, how they're interacting. I'm going to tell you something right now. That show by itself, not Kendra G, not not Last Night's Conversation, not any of these shows that seem to be gynocentric shows. None of those shows. But the Balloon Pop show has the potential to revert damn near every man that has been consuming this content on the internet for years. That show single-handedly has the ability to blue pill the hell out of men that were previously considered red pill. And the only reason why that show is more effective at it is because there is a conditioning component in that show. The popping of that balloon is more powerful than you can ever imagine. The popping of that balloon is more powerful than you could ever imagine. And I want you to keep this in mind. I want you to understand this. Before anybody tries to say, come on, Angry Man, it's just a dating show. Let me tell you something. We all look at that show as if it's harmless, right? We all look at that show as if it's harmless. But motherfuckers hated the opposite of that show. What was the opposite of that show? The opposite of that show was by Kevin Samuels. The opposite of that show was by Kevin Samuels. In fact, I would argue that a lot of these dating shows that you see, the Pineapple Show, the Kendra G Show, the Balloon Pop Show, all of them shows is to combat Kevin's influence on the men. Every last one of those shows is for the purposes, because if you notice, all of those shows have the premise of all of those shows is that you have to accept the women the way they are, but the men have to jump through hoops. That's the premise of those shows. That is the premise of those shows. Why do you think they got so angry with Aaron the plumber? The reason why they got so angry with Aaron the plumber is because of the terminology he was using when he was on that show. What did he keep telling those women? Every one of those women that rejected him, what did he say? You're not qualified. You're not qualified. That's the reason why they got mad at him, because the biggest issue that the culture had with Kevin Samuels is when Kevin was assessing these women, he was disqualifying them. He was basically saying, oh, let's see. Oh, you got 2 or 3 different baby daddies, you disqualified. Oh, you're overweight, you're disqualified. Oh, you got a sassy attitude and you don't want to submit to men, you're disqualified. See, Kevin was disqualifying the women. Hell, the overall manosphere was disqualifying the women. So when Aaron the plumber gets on that show and says, you ain't even qualified, baby. You ain't even qualified to be speaking. You ain't even qualified to be dealing with me. That's the reason why they got angry. Because the entire purpose of shows like Kendra G, the entire purpose of shows like the Balloon Pop Show, the entire purpose of these gynocratic shows is to say all women are qualified. It's you men that ain't qualified. That's the reason.
There we go. Boom. That's what I wanted to get to. That's what I wanted to get to. But Pandora's box has already been opened, and ain't nothing that you're gonna be able to do about this. Okay, you're not really going to. Don't get me wrong though. He makes a really great point about this. These kind of shows are to get you back in check and get you back to thinking like properly. What's going on with black men in particular? Black men are escaping the mindset of being weak and bending to the whims and the ideas and the thoughts of women around them. Again, men who have family and relationships, that's not a normal thing or just a regular thing that a man gets into a relationship and he's just wilding. He's just terrible to be with, all kinds of stuff. A lot of this stuff is fed to you through media, all right, and American culture, all right, for a multitude of reasons, right? But like I always say, a group can't be strong if the men are not strong. And one of the reasons, and this is something why people are not understanding why more black men and black people in general are looking at Trump differently. Now, I don't necessarily feel like Trump's the best president necessarily, but I get it. He also is showing that there is no reward for you trying to be perfect. You get rewarded for what you stand on, what you stand for. Because a part of being a strong person is having a strong opinion. And he has strong opinions, okay? And he's not flip-flopping on the opinions, or he's not trying to cater to the entire world. So I know for black people, we'll get caught up on things that we think is, are with the atheist, right? And even that concept makes you weak, because what you're not getting is you're not a part of dominant society, and you need to adjust and find a way to work in that system. Then eventually you can work around the system, but you have to learn this system first. There's let me share something real quick. Hold on. You see it? You see it? Detroit man files lawsuit against luxury hotel, claiming they ignored resume until he switched to a white name. I changed my name from Dwight Jackson to Jacob Jabrowski and got an interview. Let me just draw right here. Here we go. Dwight Jackson, a 27-year-old Detroit resident, claims he applied for multiple positions at a downtown hotel in the first few months of 2024, but was never contacted for an interview. He then decided to apply for 2 similar positions using the alias that sounded more Caucasian, according to a lawsuit filed on Wednesday, July 3rd. On 2 occasions, Jackson allegedly applied for positions at Shinola Hotel using his exact same resume, but he changed the name to John Jabrowski. The lawsuit claims Jackson, or rather his alias, was contacted for an interview within the same week of submitting applications under the Jabrowski name. Jackson did end up going through the interview process and told he wasn't a viable candidate for the position. The lawsuit says Jackson and his attorneys claim he was not considered for the positions because of his race. They also claimed Jackson was punished for complaints to the company about alleged discriminatory practices. So it's real quick, guys. For the men watch. Oh shit, my bad. I thought y'all could see that shit. I'm so sorry. I know I just read it. I'll read it again. Oh, that is so sloppy of me. So pause. Detroit man files for lawsuit against luxury hotel, claiming that they ignored his resume until he switched to a white name. I changed my name from Dwight Jackson to Jacob Jabrowski and got an interview. So, like, as you guys just heard, what he did was he sued them for being for discrimination. Well, I think it's very interesting about that. And again, don't get me wrong, he's free to do whatever he wants. If he feels as though he was, if it's worth it, I get it. Listen, I guess whatever, right? But this is what we're missing. How can black folks come to power, right? If we don't realize why you weren't being pulled for that position anyway. Also, a job can hire whoever they want to hire. To a certain degree, I'm not gonna lie, I can't say it reeks of entitlement, but it's like, sir, I'm not gonna say it's so much that it's a reason for that, but when we get into racism, it stops your mind from thinking about, okay, how can I ascend above these limitations? Because our forefathers came out of slavery, and within 20 years, there were black millionaires in this country, or wealthy black people in this country who were the previous generation were slaves, right? And pretty much in the same lifetime, right? And they were able to build businesses and build communities right after that, right? If they kept their minds on how white folks felt about them, they would have never created anything. You can't get caught up on someone not liking you, because a lot of that has to do, aside from like laws and things that affect your life in a serious way, or someone trying to victimize you because of your race and whatnot, it's not relevant. But a part of why he's pursuing this, and also he's leaving out a whole part of the story. He said that he actually, so in that last paragraph, it talks about how he said he was punished for complaining about their discriminatory practices. So basically, he confronted those people who don't owe him anything. No one owes you a job. This will make more sense if you worked for the company, right? And you were applying for an internal position, and maybe you applied and that happened, but you don't work there. They don't know you. No one knows if you could do the job or not, right? But anyway, I want to get into that because I feel as though black men who think this way, or think that that's the solution, is a part of the black men. Again, this is the female influence. This is your mom's influence. It's not fair. It's not fair. They shouldn't do that. Why they do that? Why you do that? You know what I mean? So I want to touch on that, but let's go ahead and get to the main show. Hold on, y'all. Start the show.
Okay, how many kids you have?
I have 2.
How many baby daddies?
2.
2? Okay. So you didn't think after the first one that you wanted to marry the next one?
No.
No? Okay. Okay. I was just asking because for real men, that's what matters.
Mm-hmm.
Your first one is given. Your second one, the mistake is on you.
Oh, is it? Well, there's
That's definitely
circumstances
right.
under why I got
That's
pregnant,
definitely
but
right.
that's nor here or there, and that's
Yeah,
not
but
what I'm here for.
Okay, definitely. You're a beautiful woman, though.
Thank you.
But I respect your answer. Okay, social media?
So yeah, so like I said, this is the one. This is the guy who just went viral. So let's go ahead and read a few comments. So here we go for the sisterhood. Nah, he really thinks he's Kevin Samuels. They hate when men have standards. I agree 100%. There's no way I'm having more than one baby daddy and no marriage in sight. Like, do y'all realize that children are life choices? Calling yourself high value on a balloon popping game has me tickled. Accountability has left the room. Oh, be careful now. Let me play the beginning. I didn't play the beginning when she says, when she goes through her stats. Go ahead.
Social media agent. Yes.
Okay, how many kids you have?
Social media. I wanted to play that. Matter of fact, let's come in and come out.
Okay, social media?
Social media agent. Yes.
Okay, how many kids?
Y'all know Beloved just came out there and said that she don't got no job, right?
Did you have?
I have 2.
How many baby daddies?
2.
2? Okay. So you didn't think after the first one that you wanted to marry the next one?
No.
Yo, all right. I want to play this, right? I want to play the other one real quick. Hold on, y'all.
If we can start off with your name and age.
I'm Shay, and I'm 37.
How you doing, Shay?
I'm doing amazing.
Shay, what do you do?
So I work for the county, and I have.
Hold on. You know what? I know I played her last time, but let's go ahead and cut through all this stuff. What she's saying in a roundabout way is that she has a low-level job for the county that she lives in. Whenever someone says they got a job and talking about, you can only have at best one business outside your job. When someone says I have a few small businesses, you hear this a lot. Even with the girl I played earlier that I was talking to Kevin Samuels, and Kevin Samuels had to put things in perspective in terms of where you are. Because again, certain things fall into a shit talking realm, right? They just fall into shit talking. And at some point, you are shit talking about someone else, right? And I mentioned that because the girl I showed you in the Kevin Samuels video, she was talking about her family and the people who raised her and made it possible for her to have a good life. You know what I mean? And she spoke on their lifestyle as if it's subpar, as if, you know, and don't get me wrong, that mindset comes from hustle culture, which is really influenced by MLMs, you know, multi-level marketing companies that sell people or get people to basically buy a business that doesn't make money. And they don't understand that you are the customer. There is no customer but you. You buy, let's say Herbalife, right? Herbalife makes you buy product all day. No, I'm sorry, every month. You have to keep replenishing whatever you buy. They do not allow you to come and just you just buy stuff one time and that's it. No, you have to keep buying. So they literally put someone in debt trying to sell things they can't actually sell until that person cancels their membership, if that's even possible. But the kind of people who want to pull you into those kind of businesses will encourage you to think that, you know, basically they want to get you into this mindset of abundance, but via them or through them, not through a skill you've gained, but through these acai berries, these superfoods, this expensive ass protein shake. There are a million protein shakes. They're all the same. That's the same as saying that, well, my medium roast, my donut shop blend coffee is the best out there. And guess how much it costs? $40, sir. Give me my money. That's how y'all sound. It's ridiculous. Understand? But anywho, I want to play this real quick.
I have my own hair business and a few other little small businesses.
Not only that, fam, unless you got a clone.
Okay. All right. And now, why did you end up popping your balloon?
So originally I was feeling it. I like I don't want to say a bad boy, but I like somebody that's outspoken. But the question of, I feel like you're challenging the women. Oh, how many baby daddies you got? And then, you know, it just, does that matter? You say future. So that's their past. It's not their future. How many?
So I wanted to play. That's all we need to hear. That kind of conversation, so you guys can understand, that kind of conversation is, for one, carrying on the mission. All right? Because again, women understand this is a group thing. If one of us falls or messes up, we can mess it up for the rest of it, for the rest of us. All right? Like I always say, only reason why you get BJs now is to get somebody messed up. Okay? And someone messed up and started doing rim jobs. You know what I'm saying? And somebody messed up. You understand? And now here we are. All right. Now dudes is getting they behinds feasted upon. I don't want YouTube hating on them, right? So you understand that. And a lot of what goes on in this show is, again, it doesn't matter how she looks, it doesn't matter what her situation is. And like Angry Man is saying, it's almost as if this existed to prove the men that no, I'm the one doing the qualifying. You can't tell me I'm not qualified. You can't tell me that my situation is bad, no matter how bad it is. Only thing that we haven't seen, honestly, is a woman in a wheelchair. And I've seen women in wheelchairs on Instagram dressed like baddies and whatnot, and taking pictures in their wheelchair. Which I'm not saying that you can't look good and be attractive in your wheelchair. But I'm just saying, you've seen this mindset, even how the women are dressed. Like a woman her size wouldn't have tried to pull off a dress that tight because the woman can't even breathe in the dress. I think she looks good in it and whatnot, but I get that, like, yo, she's not, you know, again, not that it does look bad, but a woman that's that thick wouldn't go on a show and have a dress that tight. She wouldn't feel as though I need to wear something that's that tight. Because I'm like, because again, you got to hold her stomach in to wear that. That's why she sounds so out of breath, and she can't really get to those sentences and whatnot. But all she talks about challenging, and what she's trying to tell the man and tell him is that it's wrong for you to have any demands, requirements, or standards for yourself. Whatever standards you have for yourself is based on what you think they should be. No one else can decide that. And I've noticed that in Black culture, the women, like I said before, the women want to customize the men to them rather than finding a good man, you know what I mean, and allowing him and coming into his frame, coming into, you know what I'm saying, whatever his plan and his vision is. That's why you find a good guy. The same thing with a job, right? Aren't you vulnerable to so many different things for the job? A job could be a job where behind the scenes they're plotting to poison you, right? And couldn't any job, if they wanted to do something harmful to you, couldn't they do it and have a mad chance to do it, right? Because they know where you are every single day, know where you're going to be. They can observe you. Anything, they could be studying you. They could be experimenting on you. They could rob you. You could not get paid, but you're not going to not get a job because you know you can get hurt on the job. You know what I mean? You could the check could bounce. They could fire you. You can get laid off. No, because we know we need a job. It's the same thing with your relationship. Because at the end of the day, if the men didn't matter, if having a man didn't matter, none of them women would be trying to be, or I'm sorry, present their best selves to try to look good to be on that show if it didn't matter. But this is where the women keep getting caught up at, and this is why I also say that this is a live case study for why dating has ended in America. Now, of course, it's a messed up, condensed version of meeting people because the guy has to go in there and get rejected by like up to 10 people. And then the part of the show is the host goes to each person, and it's not a situation where they want to have a real reason and whatnot. And really, the women can all say, it's not my type. But what you often hear is the women trying to tell the men who to be, how to be, right? But what's crazy about that is women don't like men they can control. But this is also the power of believing in lies. Anywho, we almost at the hour mark, man. I got to cut this drawing down. I'm on a campaign to cut all my drawings down to like 10 videos. All right, so I should be able to make about 60 minutes. So I should be able to make about 5 videos out of this and about like 10 like 1 minute clips out of this. All right. So listen, I'm trying to promote. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you've been rocking with me this long, thank you so much. I love y'all. Be safe. And I'll see you next time, man. Like, share, and subscribe, and comment. Let me know what you guys think about the topic, man. Peace.